Welcome to Slightly Inaccurate History. I hope this works because I've had to now film this on my phone camera and then upload it to TikTok. This is the third time now of telling this story, but it's such a nice little story. I do want to persevere with it, but TikTok keeps deleting it. Like, it will record it for 10 minutes and then when I press save to drafts, it vanishes. Oh, so annoying. Anyway, I'll get on with it and hope that this does work and upload. Welcome to Slightly Inaccurate History. This is a story of Bess of Hardwick. Bess of Hardwick lived in the 1500s, like mid to late 1500s, I think. A really interesting character, and she, over her lifetime, built up magnificent wealth. Yes, it was initially through good marriages, but she also was like a very shrewd and clever business person in her own right. So her first marriage was when she was very, very young, which was quite normal then, apparently, like 13, 14. Her husband did die at the age of 14, so that was sad. So she was widowed very early on. She inherited some of his family, like estate, I believe, but she wasn't like left really rich by any means from this. Her second marriage, this was to, I don't know if it like, he was a count or something, I want to say. It was like a good marriage, a good match, and he had loads of, like, a huge estate, loads of property. He sadly passed away as well, so she's got a bit of bad luck, our Bess, in, you know, when it comes to marriage. So he died, and when he died, I mean, a bit of her was probably like, oh, like, my husband's dead, I'm a widow again. But also she might have been thinking, like, what's he left me? Because he, you know, had all this land. Unfortunately, he left her in loads of debt. He left her, like, yeah, with just crippling debt, unfortunately. So poor old Bess. She managed to, like, appeal to the courts or something, and she did get a lot of land and a huge estate, but she still was left responsible for his debts. In comes husband number 3, one of the wealthiest people in the whole country at the time. Sorts out her debt, so she's like, oh, thanks, that's lovely, right? So she's now got all of husband number 1 and husband number 2's property, like grounds, estate, whatever. And husband number 3 comes in, sorts out all her debt, so she's pretty set now. She is, as I said, she's a very clever businesswoman. She sets up businesses as well, so she's not just like sat on her bum doing needlework or whatever. She is working towards creating her own wealth as well, which was, they had like, she had a glass workshop or something, like making and selling glass. I don't know much else, and there was something else, so I can't remember what it was. So husband number 3, he sadly passes away. It was poison, but I knew what you're thinking, but the finger was never pointed at our Bess. Apparently his brother was suspected for the poisoning, which is odd because his brother never got a bean out of it. He didn't benefit in any way. But that's where, you know, that's where fingers were pointed. Bess inherited like loads of money, loads more property. She's doing all right now. She's got her own business as well. So, you know, everything's going nice. Husband number 4, because she's obviously widowed again for the 3rd time. Another very wealthy man who is as well connected in some way with like the royal court of Queen Elizabeth. He's not royal, but he's like, you know, he's like in them circles. So Queen Elizabeth becomes very friendly with Bess as well, because Bess is kind of like, she's so rich by this point. She basically is a queen. Like, her status in the country is that of as if she's a queen. So Queen Elizabeth and her are quite matey. Mary Queen of Scots is Queen Elizabeth's cousin. Gets into a bit of bother up in Scotland, has to flee the country. So she's like, oh shit, what am I going to do? I'll pop and see Queen Elizabeth, see if she can sort me out. Queen Elizabeth is like, oh, that is a sticky one, because much as I want to help you because you're my cousin, you could take my throne off me. So, all right, I'm not going to see you like put out on the street. Go and see my friend Bess. Bess will look after you. So she rings up Bess. Well, she doesn't ring her up because phones haven't been invented yet. She writes to Bess and she's like, oh, I'm sending my cousin Mary Queen of Scots down. Keep an eye on her, but don't let her like out. So she's basically under house arrest in Bess's house, in case she goes to steal the throne. Bess and her husband number 4, they're a little bit up and down in a bit of a rocky patch, and the timing of Mary Queen of Scots is probably less than ideal for this. And Mary seems to play on this, and she is a little bit of a sneak, and she causes a bit of bother between Bess and her husband. So much so that in the end they separate. Bess by now is such a rich, powerful woman. She's like, if you're going to be a knobhead, just go on then. I don't need you. I don't care if I'm married or not. So off he goes, and they live the rest of their lives as separated, but technically still married. So when he dies, she gets all of his wealth as well. She does then, I think she like is responsible for his children because she has stepchildren with him. But she sorts them out because she's not a tight cow. She like she takes her responsibilities for the stepchildren and makes sure everyone's sorted with the will, but probably takes a little bit for herself, which is all fair enough. So the other thing that I just think is brilliant with Bess and Queen Elizabeth, in the meantime, I'm not sure when the timeline is of this, but basically Bess, because she has loads of children herself as well, one of her daughters, she lines up a marriage and arranges this marriage with this young man, and the young man's parents, like, it also, all marriages seem to go through the parents. They're like, oh yeah, if we pair these two together, that's a power couple right there. That could potentially, you know, be a good match because they'll bring loads of wealth together. Unfortunately, the match that they make is potentially treasonous because there's some sort of link to the royal family. I don't quite get it, but basically they would have needed to get Queen Elizabeth's permission for this marriage to go ahead, which she may well have given if she was asked. But as it was, the marriage took place at 2 in the morning. Now that's odd, isn't it? Elizabeth gets wind of this. She's like, I'm sorry, Bess, we're mates, but you've taken the piss now. Like, that's treason. She gets the mother of the young man that was married, puts her in the tower, and she's like, Bess, tower, now. I ain't messing about. You've done treason. Get in the Tower of London. And Bess is just like, I don't really fancy going to the tower. I'm not going to go. Thanks, Elizabeth. No, I'm not going to go. It'll all blow over. And she just carries on her, like, daily life as if she hadn't been told to go to the tower, and it does blow over, and she just lives out the rest of her life in Hardwick Hall, rich and like beyond her wildest dreams. Doesn't have to go to the tower, even though she's done a little treason. And that was that. So that was the story of the absolute badass Bess of Hardwick. Thank you for watching, if you did indeed watch it, because if TikTok actually let me upload a 10-minute video, I don't know if they will or they won't, but we'll see. And have a lovely day. Okay, thanks, bye.